cell, the basic unit of life. So before getting to the exact topic called cell, I want you to imagine a wall of a house. What do we need to construct this wall? Obviously, you are going to tell me that you need bricks. And to build a wall, we would have taken a bunch of bricks and start arranging them in an orderly manner, layer by layer, and finally we would have a huge wall. Let's see what happens in case of living organisms. It's pretty much the same story. Living organisms that you see around you are made up of tiny building blocks and arranged in an orderly manner, just like the bricks that you have seen in the walls. But these building blocks get a special name here. Yes, they are called cells. Now, this cell forms the basis of all life on earth, right from microorganisms to plants to animals and to human beings. They are all made up of cells. And you also know that the life will not exist if there is no presence of cell. Then what exactly is the cell? I guess you have heard it 100 times over. A cell can be defined as the basic structural and functional unit of life. But today it's the time to break the definition down and to understand it part by part, structural and functional. So let me start with the structure. So when you call a cell as a structural unit of life, it simply refers to the fact that all complex organisms are comprised of an orderly arrangement of cells. And these cells together don't sit quietly as cells. They combine together to form tissues and then they make up a different organism. So let me give an example. Cardiac muscle cells combine together to form cardiac tissue. And this cardiac tissue combine together to form heart. So this is why we call a cell as a structural unit of life. And we also call it as a functional unit of life too. Let's see why it is called functional unit of life. When you call a cell as a functional unit of life, it means that the smallest living organism is a single-celled organism or unicellular organism which can survive and function on its own. So let me give an example of amoeba, which is a unicellular organism, and it performs all its functions of life and survives on its own. It consumes its food, it digests it, and it utilizes the nutrients, and it eats the undigested food out of the body. And this is why a cell is called a functional unit of life too. And this is in case of unicellular organisms. Then what is the concept in multicellular organisms? Yes, in multicellular organisms, these cells combine together to form a particular tissue. For example, nerve cells combine together to form nervous tissue. Bone cells combine together to form bone tissue. And these tissue with the same structure, with the same function and same origin, they combine to form a particular organ. For example, bone cells will combine to form bone tissue and then they will have the bone structure. For example, an organ called brain and liver or the stomach or the heart, these are made up of different type of tissues. And these organs are combined together in a systematic order to form an organ system like digestive system, cardiovascular system, respiratory system, and this organ system in an organism perform a particular function. So this is what in case of multicellular organisms. And now we are all studying about cells. Do you know what you call this? Yes, the branch of science which deals with the study of cells is called cytology. And the Robert Hooke is the one who discovered the cell for the first time in 1665. So when you go on talking about cells, you would come across two types of cells. They are prokaryotic cell as well as eukaryotic cell. So what are these? Yes, prokaryotic cells are those which have a primary nucleus. As the name suggests, pro means primary and karyote means nucleus. You can tell a prokaryotic cell is the one which has primitive nucleus, and in prokaryotic cell, there is no membrane-bound cell organelles, and all microorganisms will fall under this category called prokaryotic cell. And the next one is eukaryotic cell, where you can see a well-defined nucleus and the membrane-bound cell organelles in the cell. And you and me and all higher organisms are example for the eukaryotic cells, where these organisms are made up of eukaryotic cells. And this is a very introductory part regarding cells, and here I conclude this topic. Thank you so much for the opportunity.